Here we are. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another real estate backstory. This is what we do normally every Monday morning at 9 a.m. But you'll notice this is not 9 a.m. It's around 8:30. And so for the next 2 weeks, we're starting about 30 minutes early, just because we're teaching a new series called Relaunch, which it counts for a post-license credit, but it also is good for existing agents to be able to kind of relaunch their business, if you were, kind of thing.
I revisit a new business plan because the market is always ever changing. So if you don't move with the market, you may have a hard time adjusting to the climate that we're in.
So my name is Alan Rich. I'm the managing broker at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we're your hosts, so we appreciate you coming out and joining us today. We are going to be kind of starting off with our CE. We have a ton of CE this week. So today starts Relaunch, which is our post-license credit class, as I was talking about. But in conjunction, that class consists of 6 other regular CE classes. So 3 of those are this week. So this week on Monday, today at 9:30, I'm teaching lead generation in today's market. And then on Tuesday, we'll go over.
Okay.
Tuesday.
How to leverage business credit and get access to working capital.
And that's on virtual. And then on Wednesday, I'm teaching again, real estate marketing and technology secrets. Now, both Monday's class and today's class is both live in person and virtual. So you can, if you want, like for me, I'm a very much in class learner. So I really like going live. So you can come and see me live in the Conyers office, or you can catch us virtual if you'd rather.
I will have to tell you though, you get much more out in person than you will virtually. And I understand that there's still concern about COVID, but I think most of us have been vaccinated, and we would love to see a smiling face and put a name with a face.
Yeah. On Thursday, we've got 2021 contracts review, GAR versus RE, and our wonderful Dana Sparks is going to be helping us with that. And then I'm back again on Friday teaching Path to Success business planning for the real estate professional. That's live in Conyers as well as on virtual. So we hope that you'll kind of join us for that. I kind of wanted to we'll kind of show off a little bit, kind of thing, I guess you'd say. So I'm going to share our screen really quick so that you can kind of see. So our new Conyers office is open. Yay. I mean, we are live and running. So I just got a few pictures just kind of show you. Our Conyers office is up and running. You know, one thing that we do have here, well, there we go. We have in most of our new offices, we put in what's called day offices, and you kind of see a picture of those. And what we like about that is that you still have the ability to come in, jump on a computer, but you can also kind of have a little bit of privacy. We have large training rooms, big meeting spaces. So we encourage you to stop by, jump in, and kind of get on in with us. So we kind of want to jump into the real estate world and really talk about how to take advantage of backup offers as far as both sides of the transaction, because we see benefit right now on 2 fronts on working or on looking at backup offers. First of all, we've seen a rash of people throwing out blind offers. And so the number of, I would say maybe as much as 30% of blind offers end up falling back out. And so by putting in a backup offer, you basically save the process of having to go for that property to go back on the market and have to get relisted. So, in past markets, it would have been very common to say, I'm not going to worry about a backup offer. Who does backup offers? In this market, I think that you're really missing the boat. And we actually see where backup offers are being used
as a primary.
Moved into primary position. Again and again and again. And so smart agents are putting in backup offers. Now, why is that also good for your buyers? One is because it gets them engaged, and it kind of lets them know exactly what's going on. If you are, we've had some of our agents have had 20, 30 offers on properties. And so putting that offer into the backup situation really does kind of keep your buyer engaged. Plus, there's a really good chance. I guess 1 out of 3,
30%,
about a 30% chance that they may actually get it. On the seller side, the big benefit here is if I can tell you from personal experience, when I have a backup offer and the first offer is acting a fool, we're just not, we don't have to go down that road kind of thing. When you have a solid backup offer in place as a listing agent, like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I don't want to push anybody around. That's not what I mean. But by the same token, we see that kind of on both sides of the transaction. Sometimes buyers have gone nuts, and sometimes sellers have gone nuts. And if you're a listing agent and the buyer has kind of lost their mind, and you have a solid backup offer, you just don't have to go with that kind of thing. Or
Well,
your seller
I will tell you one thing is that currently the listing price are exceeding some of the fair market value. So a lot of sellers still in the mindset of that we will get another 20 plus offer if we put relisted back in the market. That is not true. Just want you to know. If your listing is higher than average norm in your neighborhood, then expect offers to trickle in. It's not like if you list it and you'll get 30 offer every time you put on the market. That is not correct. So, and not only that, we're still seeing a lot of appraisal issues where appraiser can't justify the $20,000, $30,000 increase. Now, cash offers, as always, is a king. So, the buyer has a right to put more cash than what is needed. So.
All right. So we want to warn you about MV Realty, not necessarily warn you, but alert you.
General public service announcement.
Yeah. This is our PSA. But there's a company out of Florida called MV Realty, and what they're doing, and now I'm not a lawyer, and I'm just telling you straight up, this reeks of dirty pool kind of thing. So what they do is they go out and they make an offer to be the listing agent for a property, and they pay the seller up front between $300,000 and $5,000 cash. Then they turn around and put a lien on that property, so they can't sell it unless you use them, and then they get to charge their fees on top of that. Now here's the real kicker: it's for 40 years. You have to,
it's very predatory, and I don't even think statute of limitation extend more than 7 years. So I don't know how they can go in there and do a 40-year term on a listing agreement. And what they're doing is basically paying the seller upfront money for the listing privilege. And honestly, a lot of sellers, because they're in a there's one particular lady who was actually ill, and during her illness, she didn't quite understand exactly what the legal remedy or the legal contract was about. And so she took, I think, how much was it?
She got $700.
Yes.
And it was $7,000 to
basically
for the cancellation fee.
Mm-hmm.
So she ended up losing $6,300. Now, in this instance, both the listing agent and the buying agent ended up taking it on the chin for this lady because she was ill and the house had caught fire and that kind of stuff. But we're not really dealing with MV Realty. We don't see them out there, but it seems like they're preying on older folks. And we just need to be warning people of this kind of thing.
Yeah, folks that didn't have real good grasp of what's going on.
Yeah, because this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate seeing people taken advantage of like that. So it bothers me greatly. So steer clear of MV Realty kind of thing.
Education, guys.
Yeah. So the Treasury Secretary came out and said, hey, higher interest rates would be really good for the country. And I have a real problem with this personally. Now, I understand that the Biden administration is trying to push for their stimulus plan and for the spending plans. But, the thing is that we're already in an appreciating market. So to see interest rates go out, I mean, right now we have so many home affordability issues, especially for our first time buyers.
Right.
That to say that would be good is, to me, just staggering. That being said, I do see that happening, and the fact that the Treasury Secretary, Ms. Yellen, is saying that it might not be bad so long as we can get the stimulus. They'll do anything to get the stimulus, and I'm not trying to be political with it, but
Why
I
are we
don't,
pouring
yeah.
good money after
Well,
bad? I mean, what kind of habits are we
Yeah.
teaching?
Well, and I worry about that because, I think that that's very short term thinking for, especially for so many of our first time buyers or entry level buyers. The millennials making up the biggest piece of our housing market right now, and interest rates going up is not good for them. I don't care who you are, kind of thing.
So instead of being able to afford a $200,000 home, now they're being
Yep.
able to afford 150. And guess what? There's absolutely no inventory.
Yep. At the same time, the PCE, the Pricing Consumer Index or something like that, rose 3.1% in April. That's the highest almost ever, kind of thing. Really is really staggering high what's going on. And so interest, I mean,
And it's also a
yeah.
measure of inflation. So
Yep.
if we don't keep that contained, we can be looking at a lot of trouble down the road.
Well, the concern with inflation is that when inflation goes up, the Fed's going to change their fiscal policy, and which will raise rates. Now, on the good side, unemployment rate dropped again, and so we keep seeing unemployment go down. But I'll show you some other numbers about that. Initial claims this week is at its lowest level ever. Maybe not ever, but since the pandemic, kind of thing. So last week we were right at 400,000. Now 385,000. So that's continuing to get better. Interest rates inched up this week, and I think they're going to continue to inch up. It's going to be one of our last weeks, in my opinion, that will be under 3. We're just seeing a lot of pressure on interest rates right now, and on the 10-year Treasury that really stands. I mean, when the Treasury Secretary says, "I'd like to see interest rates go up," there's probably a pretty good chance we're going to be seeing that as well coming down the pike. So, we need to get people locked in. We need to get people under contract, that kind of thing, as quickly as we can. Now, one thing that did roll out this week is Fannie and Freddie rolled out a new Refi program strictly targeting low-income owners. And so for homeowners who earn 80% or less of the area's median income, they can now get refi. And the target, really the focus here is that for folks who have been more, fiscally challenged, I guess, I'm not sure what the right word here is, but for those that have had more economic stress, they have not in the past attempted to do refis. And at the end of the day, a refi really will save you a lot of money. And so there is a new Fannie Freddie low income refi program out there that really should be taken advantage of by. So if you know of any sellers or clients out there that, I mean, they only need a FICO of 620. So it really is a pretty good program to try and get, because generally speaking, folks in the lower incomes have not really taken advantage. I mean, we still see folks that are in the 7s.
Well, it's about education too,
yeah.
Educating the general public in reference to what's available, and also do it in a manner to where it's easy process for them.
Yep. FHA extend their forbearance program for investment properties for multifamily. And so that continues. They extended that into, well, I believe September. So that is good until September now. And so just going to keep you in the loop there. One thing that is, kind of a little bit of concern, maybe not concern is the right word, is that the demand for mortgages is its lowest since before the pandemic. So in a year, we've now started to come back around. Now we're only 2% down from a year ago. We're 3% down from the previous week. But normally this is summer buying season. This is when it's getting hot. So at the same time, you'll also see on the screen where these are the largest 50 largest metros, as well as the metrics for that. So you can see here in Atlanta, the median list price is 16.6% higher than last year. However, our active listings are down 61%. Now, what's interesting is that the new listing count is only down 5.1. That is a number that has been running in the double digits for most of the year, kind of thing. And so we are starting to see a slight shift. Now, let me kind of clarify here. We're coming back to where we were starting to come out last year. We were starting to peek our heads out of the sleeping bags of all the shutdowns. And so last year about this time is when the real estate market started to heat up. That means that we're coming around full circle now. So when people, you're going to hear a lot of talking heads who are like, oh my gosh, the housing is crashing. No, it's just, we've been through the 12-month cycle now. And actually that's really good. We don't need to have 15, 16% price increases over prior year. That's not sustainable. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%, we can swing that. 16 is ridiculous. We are going to create a bubble if that does not abate. But honestly, the demand for mortgages is lower. And granted, it's a busy time of year, but also at the same time, we are starting to see where things are going to start flattening out a little bit. The sellers are not going to be the only ones in control soon. We are going to start seeing a little bit more leveling out. Now, it's probably going to be fall before we see a really big change, but we are starting to see the signs of that coming. So we were blessed to be able to see a presentation by Dr. Lawrence Yun. He's the chief economist for NAR. And so some of those, I wanted to share some of the things that we found or that was part of the presentation. Now, I definitely cut and abridged it because some of it, one, I don't have the same stories to tell he does, and two, I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the really interesting things here, kind of thing. So the first thing is if you compare GDP from like a year ago to now, as well as personal income and where it's going, as well as the savings rate, you can see that
we're spending a little bit more money,
but we've saved so much money, the different stimulus programs, that kind of stuff. And the savings rate this year is up 158%. It was up 300% a year ago, kind of thing. So, all this savings is partly why you can't go to a restaurant right now without an hour wait, kind of thing. We really are seeing that it's really driving the economy right now. You can see how we've really kind of been faring compared to the whole world, and honestly, the entire world is really, really doing better, with the exception of Taiwan. Sorry, honey. Taiwan didn't seem to take the last year's
Taiwan.
at all.
I was going to say Taiwan actually was in a lockdown. I have family there, so it was.
But they were up last year, yeah.
Yeah, and their infection rate was not anywhere near anywhere else.
So you can see that overall, the U.S. is really kind of leading the way with GDP, which is a really good forecast for us, kind of thing.
But still, their forecast is 4.5. Last year's 5.1.
So our economy really is rolling back, but jobs are not there. And so this slide right here to me is very enlightening because it does show, you can see what the job market was pre-pandemic, and then yes, we've had a massive turnaround, and it's a really great trend. But you can see we got a long way to go, folks, and so we still need 8 million more jobs to be able to reach where we were. Now, at the same time, job openings are massive, kind of thing. So, folks can go anywhere just about now. And so we are seeing a massive shift of people who that are changing careers right now and changing jobs and upgrading and moving up.
And also there's a lot of large employer that are doing a lot of incentives simply because there's just not enough labor to, I don't know what happened to all the people. Do you?
They're out working now.
Yes.
So, this was another one I found very interesting, and this is the inventory levels versus a year ago by the different price ranges. So under $100,000, the inventory is down 40%. It's down about 37%. In the 100 to 250,000 range, it's down 24% roughly. In the 250 to $500,000 range, even inventory in the 500 to 750. So the only place that has any more inventory is $1 million homes.
Right.
So that's about the only. So if you got $1 million buyers, hey, there's more inventory this year than last year. So, but at the same time, what is our percentage in home sales? Now, this one I found very, very interesting is that because there's such less inventory, the $0 to $100,000 market is down about 25%. From a year ago, just because there's none of those properties. We were talking about affordability just a minute ago. And then even the $100,000 to $250,000, those are down. The 250-500 is up, and that's because if you look at it, where's all of our builders building? They're all
Around the
building
price point.
in the threes. You know, it's really, really difficult to find a builder who's building under 250. So that's really where you start seeing that. And then all the way through, you can look at you know, home sales over $1 million are up by 80%. That's massive kind of thing. So what is the National Association of Realtors expecting for our economic forecast? So they're expecting that for 2021, we have about 4.5% GDP, 4 million job gains. They're expecting the 10-year Treasury at 1.6%. Now, that is the one that is the 10-year Treasury is what really drives the interest rate. Yep. So, and so they're expecting that to jump up about 0.7 of a point, which will in turn drive interest rates up. Consumer price inflation, they're looking at be 2.7, which is really, really high. And that's why I think we're going to continue to see a lot of pressure on the 10-year Treasury. As far as the housing market itself, they're looking at mortgage rates, you know, ending out the year with an average around 3.2.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's, if it's going to average at 3.2, that means that by the end of the year, we're going to be at 3.4 because we've been in the 2.8s, 2.9s. They're expecting new home sales to be up by 20%, and we see that as well, maybe even more than that here in the local area. Existing home sales up 10%. They're expecting a 7% home price appreciation, and that is doable if we can be there for the year. But like I said, you expect to see a lot of talking heads losing their minds here soon because we're coming up against last year. So, some other news is that there's a new survey saying that our buyers are still eager for small cities, but don't want to move too far. And so what this means is folks who are in Atlanta are great with moving outside of Atlanta. What we're not seeing is a massive influx of folks moving from state to state. So we're seeing where folks that were in Atlanta will come out into you know, all the different burbs and that kind of thing. So, you know, it really is interesting that, you know, 6 out of every 10 pandemic homeowners that were surveyed kind of thing moved out in the same state, but outside of the city kind of thing. So for our builders, lumber costs are continuing to go nuts.
Goodness gracious.
We really thought there was that things were coming back down, but then they jumped right back up again. And so you know, we went up another 6%. We're up about 310% versus where we were. So it really is a staggering amount.
And this is why the home new construction are canceling their old contracts and basically raise the price by anywhere from 10 to 30, 40 grand just because of lumber price.
So in addition to the lumber, our builders are reporting shortages, which is then driving those costs up even more again. So the first one is that appliances right now, 57% of our builders are saying that there is a serious shortage of appliances. 47% are having a serious shortage of framing lumber. OSB and plywood is right around half of our builders are having a short time getting that.
Windows and doors.
38%, that's heavy. Trusses all the way down, and even electrical is up about 25% right now. So that's always going to be a challenge right there. And that's part of the reason why our builders are having such a challenge in meeting that. And we're we're continuing to see a lot of pressure on the new construction pricing. So our buyers are expecting to take their pets with them on home tours now. We're starting to see where 20% of adults surveyed said that they would like to take their animals with them to look at homes, kind of thing. So it really is kind of funny kind of thing.
Well, if you think about the pre-pandemic, there's more pet adoptions, and so therefore now they become part of the family.
Yeah. And then, you know, we kind of want to wrap up with this. Biden is taking aim at appraisal bias and housing disparities. You know, he was in and talking about all the issues that we have with race, and as well as, you know, they're kind of targeting reducing housing discrimination, spurring infrastructure and overhauling for that, opening up more affordable housing opportunities, and supporting minority businesses. So I know that you know, all that falls under the housing segment. And so right now the details are a little bit fuzzy, but we are encouraged to kind of see kind of where that heads into. So We really appreciate your time today. If you need some me time afterwards, Ming will be around to be able, and so if you go to max1.rock/chat, you can have a chat with Ming. And we hope that you have a wonderful week. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.
Bye.